Hey, I'm Kelly Hogan. Welcome back to my Zero Carb Life. So I was hosting a meeting on, I think it was Wednesday night. And right before we got off the call, a lady raised her hand. I mean, seriously, we were about to say goodbye. I was already a few minutes over on my time. And she said, I'm feeling frustrated. I've been doing this carnivore thing a few months, 3 months, I think. And I haven't lost much weight at all. And what's frustrating about this, she says, is I know how to lose weight. I've done it in the past. I've done it my whole life. I know that if I just ate a bunch of vegetables, I could be losing weight right now. And so it's annoying to know that I'm doing this and not losing. Well, I did address it with her right then, but honestly, I thought, let's really talk it out. So, yes, you could probably eat nothing but vegetables and lose some weight. I'm curious if any of you have ever done a similar thing where you eat almost nothing but salads. Maybe you even include some rice cakes, broccoli, celery. I went on a huge kick one time in my 20s where I ate so much celery because I had heard the thing. I bet you've all heard it too. It takes more calories to chew and digest celery than is actually in the celery. I was like, okay, well, this is it. This is the ticket. I will just live off celery and then I will have negative calories and I'm finally going to lose weight. Well, I'm guessing that if I had done that for the past 15 years, let's reflect on that for a second. What if someone were actually able to eat nothing but celery for 15 years? Well, that's not what I have done. I've eaten nothing but meat, eggs, and some dairy, animal products for 15 years. It's gone very well for me. If I had only eaten celery, let's say you also, you got wild one day and you included a salad and some broccoli and rice cakes, okay, and some fat-free dressing, would I have also lost weight? I dare say I would have. Because I used to. I could also drop some weight. I could drop 20 pounds for an event. Yeah. And then what? Then you go to the event and you're like, oh my gosh, if I could just live until they serve this dinner. And then here comes the dinner and you're just dying, right? Like, okay, I'm in the dress. How fast will that weight come back on? Will it happen while I'm here in this dress? I don't think so. Let's do this. So then I would eat. And, within a couple of weeks, I've gained it all back. Because there's no way anybody's going to live like that. Okay, I take it back. Some of you may have lived like that for 15 years. I could do it for, a few weeks, and then you're just dying. Then I would binge on whatever real food I actually got into my mouth. I couldn't take it. I was starving. Also, I do not think I would have a regular period. I don't think I would have been able to have kids. Now, I know there are supplements out there that you can supplement if you're going to just eat vegetables. I know there are human beings that are making it work, okay? I don't live totally under my little carnivore rock, mostly. I know that there are people doing it. I just know how it went for me. I tried a lot of things before I tried carnivore, even though I started eating this way when I was about 25. So it was really more like 20 years ago when I went almost carnivore, and then 15 and a half when I cut out the last of the sweeteners, the last of the pickles, the last of the green beans, and ate only animal products. But the things that I was trying were temporary fixes. They were cheap hacks to just get off 20 pounds. And I know I've joked before, you could eat nothing but cabbage soup for the next 3 months. And would you lose weight? Probably. Would you be able to keep it up forever? Probably not. So I asked the lady, I said, well, if you know how to lose weight and you've done it before, why are you here right now? And she kind of laughed. She's like, no, I know. Like, I know this. Why? Why did I not keep doing it forever? Well, because like me, it tore up her digestion. All the fiber was awful for me with IBS symptoms. It left me craving real food where you're going to always be hungry because you're missing essential nutrients and dietary fat and protein. These are things we have to have. And so you can fight through it for a while, but in the end, hunger is going to win. And that to me is the best selling point of this carnivore diet is I don't go around hungry. I really eat. And even if somebody determines that they need to eat a little bit less in order to lose some weight, even on carnivore, it's sometimes a thing. People say, I just have to eat a little less than I really wanted. The fact that we're getting fat, protein, and all of our vitamins and nutrients that we need does not leave us in that same starving state as people who are trying to subside on diet food all the time. For the last few months, I have kept my weekly caloric average. I know some of you don't care about calories. That's fine. I'll say it fast, real fast. At about 3,000 calories per day. When you average it out over the last few months, 3,000 calories. I am not going hungry around here, and I feel good. And I was able to make babies and have a regular, painless cycle. I'm 46 and a half. No signs of perimenopause yet. Y'all, I know it's coming. I'll keep you posted. But for right now, I feel really good. And my energy is good. I know when I tried the celery thing, how much energy are you going to get from that? It's like stringy water. Okay, so I have seen people try some kind of crazy things that do work for weight loss. I've even seen some people these days, literally, this is what some folks are trying, having nothing but sugar, but with no fat. And I just keep thinking, is this 1990 again? What are we doing? I tried that. Didn't we all grow up in the fat-free era where the fat was taken out of everything? It was all replaced with sugar, sugar, sugar. The healthy snack was fruit, 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 sugar, sugar, sugar. Do not touch fat, fat-free, salad dressing on everything that was just pure sugar. And I gotta tell you, that did not work for me. In fact, I kept thinking, I never ever eat fat. How can I still be so heavy? Well, I was. So I am aware that there are some hacks that will make you drop some weight. And also, I don't think in the long term, they're sustainable. I don't really care what you look like or feel like in 15 days or really even 15 weeks. I know, let's say you've got a huge event coming up and it's in a few months, and I get the panic. I have been there. I remember I would buy all of the girls. I owned, I think, every piece of shapewear that was ever invented. And I really did try counting the points, avoiding the fat. In the end, what I have found is there is no really quick, cheap hack that's going to keep working in the long term. And now that I am 15 years all in carnivore, I can say that any results that I see or feel, it didn't come from a 2-day sardine fast. Yes, you might be able to get off a few pounds, and I get it. I'm all for it. Sardines are carnivore. They're full of nutrients. In fact, I eat sardines just as part of my daily eating or weekly eating because they have all of these amazing omega-3s and they have vitamin D. Like, I love sardines. They're delicious and it's meat. If you want to do some of these metabolic reset days for a couple of days to see if that helps get off a couple of pounds, it really might. And sometimes they stay off, especially if you don't go back and binge on anything crazy. You just go right back to carnivore. It might be a total win for you. I've got no issue with that. It's this mentality of the weight is coming off very slow. So I'm going to go back to this thing that I know worked quickly. But I always think, if it worked so well, why aren't we all still doing it? Why aren't we all eating celery and running on treadmills? And why aren't we all, super thin and healthy 15 years later after doing that? Look at my face. Okay. What I have found works the absolute best is getting as many nutrients as we can in the food that we eat, making sure that we are eating enough. If you've dieted, even on carnivore, eating less and less and less, how long has it been since you came up to maintenance calories, like a really sustainable eating enough where I feel energetic, where I feel like taking the walk and lifting some weights enough that I can put on some muscle mass, enough that you can sleep through the night and that you want to have a good time with your honey bunny. I might take that out. No, it'll say. Do you get what I'm saying? If you're not eating enough food to enjoy your life and feel good, I would consider doing that, but I would do it in the form of the most nutrient dense foods that there are: animal products, meat, eggs, dairy. Now, if your digestion can tolerate a little bit of vegetables here or there and you enjoy them and they don't cause you any issues, that's not me. But fine. I know that there are worse things that people are eating, okay? I have friends who are on a standard American diet. I know that it could be worse. For me, though, it did require cutting out, all that fiber in order for my stomach to feel like, okay, this feels good. And for my skin to feel good. And for me to get rid of some of the last inflammation in my sternum, acne. All right. I think y'all probably have heard me say that before. That's why I do carnivore. And I really do understand the frustration of feeling like, but I'm doing carnivore. I'm doing all of these things. People say, I'm doing all of the things. I'm doing carnivore. I'm taking my walks. I'm tracking my macros, and I'm still in a weight loss stall. Yeah, that's going to happen. That's going to happen on any diet, even celery. Okay. You're going to hit a stall partly because our metabolism adjusts to eating less and less and less. Hence comes that reverse diet, slowly work your way back up. Live at maintenance, and then if you want to do a calorie cut, you can. You might have to do that many, many times where you slowly work back up, then do a little cut. If you don't count calories, it might look like, hey, for a while, I am going to really spend some time nourishing myself. And then if I feel good and fed and I feel like the time is right, then I could just pull back a little and see how my body responds. Great. Or you could say, hey, I've been doing the carnivore thing, but I haven't really added any movement to my life. So I'm not really adding muscle. And I think I'm going to start lifting some weight so I can at least work on my body composition. And then I could maybe take some walks after dinner to see how my body responds to that. Wonderful. And if you are already adding a movement piece, you could change things up. If you're doing high volume, but with lots and lots and lots of reps. So in other words, by the end of your workout, you've actually lifted a lot, but it was in teeny tiny dumbbells repeated over and over and over. You could try doing fewer reps with heavier volume. Or if you've just been walking on a treadmill, try going outside. Sometimes just changing things up, your body responds differently. Maybe you could look at macros if you know that you're eating really high fat meats, a lot of ribs, like flanking ribs, beef ribs, pork ribs, or really high fat, fatty ribeyes, and you're adding butter or a lot of cream in your coffee. That works great for me. I love high fat carnivore. That's partly how I'm getting 3,000 calories a day. I eat a lot of fat. My fat is often at 80% of my calories or more. And I just feel really good doing that. My sleep is better. My energy is better. I just feel happier. But that doesn't mean that's like your weight loss macros. You could consider trying a couple of weeks pulling back on the fat. I don't mean fat free. I don't mean celery. No one means celery, okay? Don't do that to yourselves. I just mean maybe keep your fat closer to 60%. And if you don't track, that could look like New York strips or maybe even ribeye, but without adding the butter. Maybe not putting the cream in the coffee. I know. What's the point then? It could look like burger patties, but then also some chicken thighs for dinner, just to see how your body responds. But what I'm saying is, you already know how your body responded when we did this fat-free with all the sugar thing. We know how the body responded when you tried all of these other crazy veggie-centered diets in the past. And if that worked for you, why are you on this channel right now? But for many of us, it just didn't work, but we romanticize. I remember I was able to drop 20 pounds doing that. Yes, you were. So did I. And then what? So for me, the real answer was, hey, I'm not going to just do this carnivore thing for 90 days and then see if I've lost, 30 pounds. It was, hey, I feel so much better doing this that I'm going to do it forever. partly because of gratitude. And I know Ben Azadi calls it vitamin G. If you have ever been sick, miserable, no energy, on meds, maybe just really inflamed, maybe you were obese, maybe you had joint pain, whatever it was, I have, I really do try to frequently, if not daily, reflect on, I am so grateful that I don't have that pain anymore. I am so grateful that I just get to feel good. Even when the scale goes up a little, you're like, you know what? At least. These are two very powerful words. And I got this from my daughter, Julia. I know sometimes you have kids, kids can be weird. We don't always learn things from kids. It's more like, they tell you dreams for 45 minutes in the morning, and you're like, uh-huh, okay. But sometimes they'll really drop like a truth bomb. Like, wow. So I learned this one from Julia, who's now 14. But when she was around 6, she had the most amazing habit of saying the words, at least. And I mean, even when she was having a miserable time, I remember one time she was so nauseated. It was like the neurovirus. She was sick. She was laying on the back deck because I'd said, honey, I think you just need to go outside. It was nice weather. I said, let's get some sun on you. Maybe that'll help you perk up. And she was laying back there on the deck, and I was sitting there with her, and her head was on the wood. And she, at that moment, came up with an at least. And it was like, well, at least it's not my birthday. Because, yeah, that would make for a lousy birthday. At least there's no school tomorrow. She was just saying these things, and she was like that. She still is very positive. Even when things are bad, she remembers, at least I'm not, and that's me. On any given day in this 15 years, even when I had months of stalls, there was a 2-year period where I lost almost nothing. And I was 30 pounds heavier than I am now. At that point, I was very frustrated. Hear me out. I get it. I have lived it. It is not fun. You feel like every day you're doing everything right and it's just not showing up. But at least, at least I don't struggle with food noise, constant sugar cravings all day. At least I'm not running to the bathroom with IBS symptoms. And I never knew if it was going to be upset stomach or sitting in there for 30 minutes. Sorry, that is what it is. It's not fun. At least I don't have costochondritis. At least I don't have boils. I always tried to focus on some of these non-scale victories. I know we hear that all the time. I just heard your eyes roll at home right now. Like, here she goes, a non-scale victory. It's a thing because your health and your well-being and your sense of nourishment is not nothing. Let's appreciate the fact that, hey, I can take a walk and not have to worry about a bathroom and not have to worry about the cellulitis that I was getting. Not cellulite. Cellulite, to my knowledge, doesn't hurt. Cellulitis does. Um, hey, at least those varicose veins that were in my legs have gone away. Even if it's only one or two small things. And I sometimes hear people say, I'm so frustrated with the scale. And if I ask them, oh, I'm so sorry, has anything gotten better yet? Sometimes the list of pure miracles that they come up with, I'm like, that's wild. It is. It doesn't mean that I dismiss them or say, then don't worry about weight because at least you can take a walk. I promise. In my coaching groups, I really do get into the weeds of a total daily energy expenditure calculator, the TDEE. There's a whole handbook. There's a whole section on how to lose body fat. What I'm saying to you now is there will be periods in a long health journey when that scale is not playing nicely. It's just not going to be your friend for sometimes. And I give people tips on things that might get it to move the needle a little bit. It might be some type of reset day or fast. It could be a water fast or bone broth fast. It could be that sardine fast. My favorite. Go ahead and say it. What is my favorite? Do you know? Fat fast. Yes. Okay. I do love a fat fast. It could be a pure protein, like a lean day. It could be an OMAD here or there. Or if you eat 3 times a day, maybe you do a 2 MAD, 2 meal a day or 1 meal a day. I eat 3 times, sometimes 4, every day, at least 3. But if I were stuck and wanting to change things up, I could consider a day where I skip dinner to see what happens. I'm not going to do that every day. I'm not going to do that every day. But I could if there's a day where I'm not hungry and I might see the scale move a little. There are little things that we can do. In general, though, keeping out carbs, eating the food with the most nutrients, moving our body. I would say my 2 favorite things. Okay, I have 3 now. Can I give you 3? One is walking. Duh. One is walking, especially after meals, most especially evening meals. I am doing my stretching classes. I love it. I do think stretching and balance is a great thing to do, but lifting weights too, so that at least when you're stalled, you're going to be getting stronger if you're lifting weights and you're just progressively adding a little bit more, then at least you can come out of this with some muscle and strength. Wouldn't that be cool? During a stall also, I think this is a total side tangent because I was on number 3, movement. Okay, we're going to put a pin in it. During stalls, I would oftentimes see that that's when my skin would start to tighten up. Y'all, I had a lot of loose skin. And during stalls, it was like the scale isn't moving, but, the bat wings got a little better. That's fun. And again, so at least the skin is getting better. At least I'm not running to the bathroom all the time. At least all these things, keeping that in mind. Okay, so I said cut out the carbs, eat the good, delicious meat, movement, sleep. Go ahead. Sleep is important. Not going all into it now. And dealing with stress. When our bodies are super stressed out, whether it's about the scale and monitoring all of the things, and oh my gosh, I didn't get enough steps, and I'm over on my calories by 4. In addition to those things, you might also be dealing with being a caregiver to someone at your house, whether it's a little tiny one or your parents or spouse. You might also have a boss that's, yeah, I've had bosses. So there is a lot of stress in our lives. Everything from world news to just the constant influx of everything coming at us. Ding, 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 ding. And the blue light and the artificial light. So, yes, stress. If you are working on those 5 things, I tip my hat to you, sister and brother. I mean it. You're going to get results. This is me saying it 15 years into the making. So when people get really frustrated on week 15, sometimes it's day 15, and honest to goodness, I feel like sometimes it's minute 15. I'm like, the things I have experienced did not all come to me in the first 15 weeks or 15 months. It has taken time. And the magic pill that most people are looking for is simply consistency over a long period of time. Well, that's a real downer. Am I right? I mean, who wants to do that? Well, I'd rather eat meat for 15 years, take some walks, lift weights, and go to bed and do some breath work. I would rather do all of that than chew on celery for the rest of my life. Every time. Now, if you have been doing this a really long time and you're not feeling great, you don't have any at least this, then yeah, we can absolutely make some adjustments. You really might want to track your food for a little while to make sure that you are not in a severe calorie deficit and literally just depriving yourself of enough fuel and enough nutrients. Like, we could work on that. It could be that your thyroid is jacked up. You could ask your doctor about this. I would ask for a complete and thorough thyroid panel from somebody that you trust. If you go to a doctor and they say, listen, we're just going to run a TSH. Oh, it's normal. You're good. And you have symptoms, please look for another doctor. There are many really good ones out there, and some of them even work with people online. So if it's not in your little town, that's okay. You find one. It could be your thyroid. It could be hormone related. And I think a lot of people feel like, well, I guess it's probably my thyroid or my hormones, and I don't know what to do about that. Well, here's 5 things you can do about that. Avoid sugar and carbs, eat meat, move your body, go to bed, and deal with stress because those are great for hormones and thyroid. Also, you might need a little something else, so I would seek out some testing just to make sure there's nothing else going on that's wrong. And it could be that you even need some help, maybe even medication type help. I know some carnivores who are doing all of these amazing I can't decide which way to turn my hand. They're doing all of these amazing 5 things and they still needed a little help. And so they're on a very low dose of GLP-1s. I've told you before, I have not tried it, but I have some friends who have, and it is helping. Again, they didn't throw out these 5 awesome things. They're just adding a little 6th thing. Maybe you need a 7th, 8th, 9th, or 10th thing. But when people feel stuck, instead of trying 1 or 2 of these things for a long time and then adding to the toolbox, very often they express something similar to my group member who says, well, I know how to lose weight. I've done it before and I get frustrated and I think I'm just going to go back to that. So let's drop the romantic notions that that was ever going to work for long. If it did, you'd still be doing it. And let's focus on things that we actually can implement and add. The number one thing being a little more time. Dr. Berry says his favorite vitamin to tell people to take is vitamin P. Just a little more patience. I am incredibly glad that in my 2-year stall or that 6-week stall or 6 months, I've gone through many of them where I would full out go and buy new clothes because I thought, well, this is my new weight. I think I'm done. I thought I would lose more. I think I'm done. Thank goodness I did most of my shopping at Goodwill because then after time had passed and I'm wearing my new set of clothes, they would start to get loose again and I would have another whoosh. Oh, don't we just live for the whooshes? I get it. And when nothing is whooshing and you're just wishing for the whoosh, then you think I'm just going to give up and go back. Please don't go back. Consider looking for more tools, whether that's the numbers of, maintenance calories, doing some tracking, the TDEE, and then doing a slight deficit and working it through maybe the numbers of macros or not number related. You're like, okay, I think I'm going to change up my movement. Maybe I will lift heavier or add in that stupid walk she keeps talking about. And maybe it is some testing. Maybe it is some sleep hacks. There are so many things to try, but let's don't keep trying the things that we used to try. All right. Hey, I'm keeping it a little short tonight. Couple things. I'm about to record with some group members. I think I'll go change shirts. So looks like a different day, perhaps. And tonight, my good friend, Linda Salant, who is known as Linda the Carnitarian, is coming to stay at my house. And tomorrow morning, we're going to wake up and drive 2 hours over to Pigeon Forge, Tennessee to hang out with a truck ton of carnivores. It's going to be a massive meetup. And maybe by this point, I'll be posting photos on this video. We'll see. I haven't been yet. But by the time it comes out, I will have been there and hopefully hugged some necks. If you were there, comment below. Tell me what a great time we had. And if anything that I said resonates with you, if you get it, if you've been in a stall, if anything helped you and you feel like passing some of that on in the comments, please do. If you need some group support and you don't want to just talk it out in the comments, you want to talk it out with me live on Zoom and with fellow teammates who are there to support and encourage. If you would like that TDEE and the handbook, come on, let's hang out. I'll put the information below. I hope y'all having a great Saturday and I hope to see you next weekend. Bye.